Hey everyone, Brandon from the bench with another install video, this one for our friends at Shepherd Tactical Supply. Today what we'll be installing is their performance trigger. This is a short stroke trigger. What sets this one apart from others on the market is the fact that this one is aluminum. Now, how do you get away with that with the steel trigger bar? Well, you see this tiny little hole right here? That is a weep hole. So what you'll do as part of your new maintenance is when you're doing your normal cleaning, you'll put a little oil in that there weep hole. It'll sink in just like that. Oil, you'll pull the trigger a few times, actuate it, and get it moving around. Along with that, they sent us over their trigger installation kit. For brevity's sake, I've gone ahead and used some of my VC3 that I've already got open and pre-treated the screws. What you will do now, if you are using the trigger install kit instead of blue Loctite, you'll take your VC3, you'll take your 1/16 Allen wrench, you'll take your set screws out of your performance trigger, you'll go ahead and apply the VC3. Alright, mine's getting a little gooey, but basically you'll just take this, you'll squirt it on out, it'll go on to the screw. I'll show you with one of the extra screws that comes in the kit. And what's really great about this, while I've got this, fortuitous, I grabbed that one. Notice that's nylon tipped. Alright, that's your pre-travel screw for this trigger. So instead of the stainless or carbon steel of a screw digging into the aluminum alloy frame, it's got a nice soft piece of nylon. Well, it's hard nylon, but you get the point. It's not metal hitting the metal. You got a nice piece of nylon sitting there stopping it well before then. Alright, so if you're going to be using your VC3, go ahead and take, like I said, open it up, you'll cut the corner. We'll go ahead and apply some to our screw here. Great stuff. Some of my favorite stuff for anti-vibratory stuff. And then you'll set it down for 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending on where you live in the States, your elevation, all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. It'll actually, the instructions will tell you on the back of the package that it comes in the trigger install kit. So if you're using the VC3, go ahead and pause the video for about 20 minutes and then come back and we'll get started. For those of you that'll be using blue Loctite, I'm not obviously going to use the blue Loctite, but I'll show you at what point we're going to. So let's go ahead and get some stuff out of the way here. Tools you're gonna need. Keep your packaging. Why do we keep our packaging? We always put our stock parts in our packaging in case of warranty work. If you have to send a firearm back to a manufacturer for warranty work, they will return it stock and charge you for it, and you won't ever see your parts again. Basically, your hard-earned money gone. You're gonna need your 1/16 Allen wrench. You're going to need a 3/32 punch. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver. Got my cleaning brush out. And you're going to need some gun oil. We're not going to go super in depth on cleaning. We'll save that for another video, but we will talk about certain spots at a little brush, a little dot of oil once we put it back together. Won't hurt anything. Let's go ahead and we are visually and physically empty. Let's go ahead and remove our slide. We'll set it off to the side. First thing I like to do is take the takedown out. So we'll take, and you can feel this side of the takedown with your trigger finger. Go ahead and push while at the same time turning and pulling from the left. It'll come right on out. Okay, set that off to the side. Next, we're going to take our locking block out, pull it up, and push forward at the same time. Now, this one has been shot a lot, and it's also a test pistol. It's going to come out real easy. Some of you guys, it's not going to come out easy for. All right, and there's no real trick to it, okay? You just got to sit there and play with it. Now, we're going to take our hammer, we're going to decock it, we're going to ride it forward. Now, we're going to lay it on its side, get our locking block out of the way, take our flathead screwdriver, we'll remove our grip screws, set our grip panel off to the side. Now we're going to take our trigger. This is why it's important to decock it before we get to this point, because you have to take your trigger bar return spring / trigger return spring and take the tension off of it. And it's a stout little spring. It's a stout little bow spring. Note of importance. Notice the curvature. That goes to the trigger bar. L shape. That will go in the frame. Alright, set that off to the side. Now, this one's been shot a lot. Like I said, if yours doesn't come out real easily, go ahead and take your 3/32 punch, push it on through. Pull out the slide stop trigger pin, and now you're ready to go ahead and pull your stock trigger and trigger bar up. Notice I'm helping it. You don't want to force this. Just keep your finger here, barely put any pressure on it. It'll drop into the channel, pull the whole thing out. If you're having issues and you can't get them both out, the trigger bar will drop enough to where you can get the trigger to about here, stock trigger to about here, get it out of the hole, turn it enough to where it'll come off and your trigger bar will drop down inside. All right, so we're going to take our anodized one. This is one of the original prototypes. That's Cerakoted. Take our anodized one. I'm going to put our trigger bar in. Take our gun Earl from the south. Gotta say Earl, iron, Earl. Put a little in there. I kind of overdid it. Wipe your excess off and then just give it a little lubing. Keep your frame on the side and not cake. I could go for some cake. Take your trigger bar and your trigger, slide them in at the same time. The reason we're doing this from the side is because you can grab the trigger with your thumb and forefinger of your right hand and manipulate the trigger bar with your left, or vice versa, whichever. But this is the easiest way to do it so you can see everything. So the trigger bar is not binding, trigger's lined up. You're going to make sure that you take, if you have a smooth side goes to the right, knurled or just cut goes to the left. Now, when we put this in, notice these cuts. If you try and go up, they don't line up. Okay? You're going to get it in there and it's going to be stuck. They go down towards the bottom of the chassis, slides right in, and that's how the locking block works. So we're going to make sure we come in from the right, knurled side to the left, or slit, whichever you have, slit cut or knurled. Flats facing downward. Then we're going to take our slide lock, place it in, go ahead and push that all the way through. I'm going to set our frame down for a second. Pin's going to be a little loosey-goosey. It may fall out. If so, just push it back in from the other side. Take our locking block. Alright, and what this is the spring that holds the takedown and actuates the slide lock. I'm going to hold that up. We're going to take and make sure that goes over the trigger and trigger bar. And then we got to just hope we lined it up, which we didn't. You'll know. There we go. When you get it all lined up, you'll know because it's going to drop right on in just like that. Other way to know is to take your punch. Don't do it hard, but just push on the pin. Shouldn't even move. Now, you will have some play back and forth because it does, like I said, this one's been shot a lot, and it's also a test pistol. But you will have a little play in the pin, and it should. That is right. If you get it in there and you can't take and just move barely a couple thousandths of an inch and everything seems tight, take the locking block back out. There's a good chance that spring got up underneath the slide lock instead of on top. So now I'm going to lay it on its left side. Make sure everything's all hunky-dory. Trigger bar is moving freely. It's not bound, so we're going to go ahead and take our trigger bar return spring. I need a big man is what I need. But I went with the gray. Figured a lighter color would be easier to see stuff. Alright, so we're going to take the L shape, put it in here. Take the U shape, and that notch right there, back of the trigger bar. Okay. And now, we're not going to cock it. We're just going to, and right here, where the lifter pops down, that's part of the lifter. This is just a little function test. This is not the function test. This is just making sure we don't have a bind. So with that little lifter popping up, trigger bar is moving forward, trigger's moving. We're golden. We're ready to put our panel back on. Go ahead and take your grip panel, put it back on. Alright, now we're going to take our takedown. Place it in. Now what I like to do is I'll come in with this cut in first, get it over the spring, and then turn it. Then get it over here, pop it in. Alright, now we're ready to do a function test before we start making adjustments because we want to make sure the trigger works correctly. This is a double action, single action pistol. So first, cock it, decock it, should decock, trigger double action, trigger single action, proper reset. Alright, so now we're ready to adjust some stuff. So first what we'll do is we'll remove the slide again. Alright, so now that we got everything together, we can go ahead and make our adjustments. So first what we're going to do is make our post-travel adjustments for the single action. So to do this, you're going to have to put the slide on and off a couple of times. Now, what we want is we're going to hold the hammer and the trigger so we can get to it. We're going to turn clockwise and it may get stuck. Alright, so right there is what we want. Okay, hammer can't fall. So now we're ready to go ahead and hold the hammer, hold your trigger back, take your 1/16, get back in there. Alright, now we're going to turn counterclockwise, quarter turn at a time. And there you go. Alright, now notice we only had to make 1/4 turn, so we're going to go ahead and give it one more because that little bit of space can sometimes fool you. One more, and our post travel for single action should be set, but we're going to check it. So let's put our slide on. Oh man, single action reset, and that's why we check it. So we need to go one more quarter turn. Counterclockwise, because we're letting it up. Go ahead and put your slide back on. Double action works. Single action reset. Single action drop. Let me show you again. Single action reset. Single action drop. Single action reset. You're going to hear me drop. Alright, so our post-travel for single action set. So now we're going to set our pre-travel for the double action. And to do that, I'm going to take our Allen wrench and come in. It's going to be hard to see. But you'll come from the back and you're going to turn it clockwise and you'll see the trigger starting to move. So we'll turn it a couple times, and what that's doing is pushing the pre-travel, double action pre-travel screw outwards. And what we're aiming to do is to kill our double action, which we did. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go counterclockwise, 1/4 turn at a time, and test. And then just like with the single action over travel stop, as soon as you get double action, go one more quarter turn and stop. We're almost there. Alright. Notice how if I let it out, it doesn't reset. So we're going to give it one more quarter turn. And that right there is your double action reset. So right off the bat, you're pulling probably 10-15% out of the double action pull and a ton out of the single action pull. Reset. Fire. Reset. I keep letting it out too far. But you're not going to get it. And man, just look at that. Single action, it stages perfectly. It's right up and down. Once it's timed, it's great. I love the feel of the sides of the trigger. It's nice and rounded off. I love how they've done these little blood grooves in the front. Gives it a nice grip on the front of the trigger, but it doesn't hurt the fingers. So definitely swing by shepherdtacticalsupply.com. Check their stuff out. If you guys got any questions about the video, be able to hit them up, no problem. And I appreciate them for letting me do this install video for them. Let me get to play with their product. I really enjoy it. We'll see if we can't get some shooting video in the next day or two of it too to add on. And we'll see you next time.